The Flying Lion says,
boys, hell is real.
2023 Supporter Shield champs.
So glad that I can be back with people who know that it's a Flying Lion.
It shows how much we all love this club.
Yeah, just a fan of the sport, you know.
It's definitely tougher to be an academy player than it is a pro.
In this club, you don't play just for the club. You play for the fight.
Jersey swap, car of the week, trivia question of the week. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Flying Lion podcast on a week where FC Cincinnati got a point, could have been 3. Sam, how are we feeling about this match against Inter Miami?
Oh my gosh, a lot of mixed feelings there, Ryan. Obviously, coming off the All-Star break here, this was the first match back. Lots of drama surrounding it before the match, in the match, after the match. I mean, what more could you ask for as far as just entertainment? If you're an MLS fan, preferably not an FC Cincinnati fan, because you're probably not too happy right now. But the rest of the MLS, they're watching from afar, going, "Hey, this is real interesting right here."
Yeah, great point. Just between this match and the build-up, with everything that was going on, All-Star game, we'll get into that in the second part of the episode. And then with the transfer market opening as well, Sam, we're going to get into that and maybe talk about some rumors or lack thereof. So it again was a very, very busy week for FC Cincinnati. But we did have our match day against Inter Miami, only 10 days separated, this one versus the first one when we won 3-0. This one was on the road, Sam, and it did not feature Lionel Messi or Jordi Alba. That was going to be the big question. I had posed it to you last Monday just because, hey, I was like, let's see what the league does with this. Let's figure it out. And for all the buildup that was there, all the questions, the league finally delivered what they should have. Again, I tweeted this out, what they should have done. And it was the right call. You got to follow the rules.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's one of those things where nobody's above the rules. However, they've made many, many exceptions, not only for Messi himself, but also Inter Miami as a squad, right? And I think this moment in general, I think you really saw a bulk of the MLS fans. They've had enough. And I know there have been talks about Messi's contract and everything, after this All-Star game. I don't think anybody cares at this point anymore. They've had enough of it.
Yeah, the one guy that said like he's turning into a villain of the league. It's kind of like I don't know if I would go that far, but I would just say like everyone's just kind of sick of this whole thing. And for me, seeing this situation, you're hearing afterwards that him and Jordi Alba are really upset. It's like you knew this rule because last year the same situation happened and Suarez should have been suspended against us, and he wasn't. So, they shouldn't be surprised. They got away with it last time. Again, somebody on Inter Miami, like in their front office, failed them, if that's the way that you want to like look at it that way. And if they would have registered them maybe early on that, they had a knock or it was precautionary, like different. But when you come out the same day, as the MLS All-Star game and say, these guys aren't available, they're not showing up, what is the league supposed to do at that point? Like they had marketed these guys. They had said, go vote for these guys. They even made, Lionel Messi, a certain number. We'll get to that later. But like they, by all means, were trying to go that way. And a lot of people spent a lot of money, to go and see them. And it was kind of like a slap in the face, honestly, to the MLS. And they should be suspended, and they were. So, again, good for the league for doing this. It was the right call. This is, again, a preface to, kind of tee up the fact that we still had to go and play this match, Sam. For me, seeing this is like, all right, great. But now you have added pressure, not only for this, but with the results that happened on Friday with, Nashville not getting a result, with Columbus not getting a result. So it just added to more of a pressurized situation, and it built for a pretty cool showdown, in South Florida. So if we get into this one, going into it, Sam, FC Cincinnati had 8 road wins, leading the MLS, the most road wins since in 2025. So like I was saying, but we had scored in 14 or 13, I think, straight matches for the longest streak in club history as well. So a lot of good things going into that in terms of like on the offensive side, but then you get a 0-0 draw. We'll get into this. So Sam, lineup wise, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, lineup wise, I mean, there's not a lot of thought, honestly, to this lineup, Brian. I think it was the exact same lineup that we had 10 days prior. With Denke still out, Dotto slides in up top with Kamara, which we saw against Miami was phenomenal. So, I think you're looking to see more of the same from this squad, and some energy to not only get a point on the road, but hopefully 3 points. But what were your thoughts?
Yeah, no surprises,
Yeah.
especially with the way that, you win 3-0 at home. You know that on the flip side, though, they're going to play you different. They're going to press higher. They're going to not be as lazy. I'm going to call out a certain player for being lazy and walking around. I mean, they had 11 guys on the field that were committed to their goal. And at some points, their team doesn't have that with certain players that are on the pitch. So it felt like a more competitive match in that sense, and also a more physical match, Sam. I think because of the setting of things, with the suspensions that happen, with what this could potentially mean, for Supporter Shield. So the lineup that we had, no brainer for the guys that we had available. It was just about going out and doing it. And early on in the match, I actually felt like we came out pretty decent. Would you say?
Yeah, I would say so. I think, we had some early chances there in the early go of things. I know Dotto had that breakaway chance, just wasn't able to finish. Evander, Kamara, all kind of like up top had some chances there in the first 20, 30 minutes. But I would say Inter Miami, on the flip side, had a decent amount of chances as well. And Roman stepped up big time, dude.
Yeah, he certainly did. He's been on a heater, if we want to look at this run. The ball that Suarez plays to the back stick for Fafa Picault was just a nice ball right over, I think, Yedlin's head there.
Mhm.
And Roman just gets big and makes like a slap save on it. Two that he had in that first half that really kind of like was like, all right, we're still in this game.
Yeah.
Honestly, the Dotto moment, you're right, comes before that. Like one-on-one with the keeper, probably should have done better with that. Could have gone up 1-0 in that situation, so that boosts up the XG a little bit there. But yeah, I would say, Sam, in that moment, because of how quick of a header that was, does that one remind you of his goal of the year save that he had against Columbus 2 years ago?
A little bit. Obviously the Columbus one, he's outstretched and it's, top corner, but very good save from Roman as far as like reactions. Honestly, I think I'm just really happy to have Happy Gilmore 2 out, because I don't know if you saw that second save, but it gave me, kind of the reminiscing of the first Happy Gilmore movie where he's taking baseballs straight to the chest, and Roman literally just took that ball like straight to the chest and it goes out of bounds. I was like, that's awesome.
The second one for sure, because it almost looks like he just slaps at the ball. But he like gets big again, hits it more on like his shoulder. So, but yeah, he kept us in the match there. Again, a very aggressive game. The thing that I saw that kind of stood out was how they were almost targeting people, even in the first half. Like there was some late challenges on Evander. There was one moment where I think there was a pretty late tackle on a breakaway for us as well with Yedlin, number one. And then I think later on, as well on Dado, I believe, where I think I had texted you and I was just like, man, they're out for blood. Like we just happen to be the team that they're playing. But I think that sets the tone in the way that your team responds to that, and can be more physical. Like we have those guys like Anunga definitely can do that. Miazga can definitely do that. So in those moments, again, all of these things kind of just keep building, especially with the fact that it was 0-0. But 54th minute, Sam, we had an interesting chance here.
Yeah, I mean, this chance, this is probably the biggest chance of the game as far as proximity to the
Dados, yeah.
But Yedlin's cross kind of gets deflected a little bit, and it falls just perfectly far post for Evander, and he goes to just tap it in with the top of his boot, and he gets under it too much and skies it, and it's one of those where he absolutely wants that back. Put his head into the net, after the follow through. He was definitely wanting that one back.
I'm going to give it to Evander because this guy is just unbelievable player. The deflection throws him off is what I'm going to say. Like clearly, like you should put that one in, probably in, but I'm going to say the deflection threw him off. But just as you put in this breakdown, Sam, he just didn't quite look like himself in this match. I think honestly, if you watch the All-Star game, we'll get into it in the second part of the episode, but he he actually got hit a few times even in the All-Star game. And I just wonder, like, with everything that he did throughout the week, he was tired probably. Again, going into this one, he looked pretty decent in the first half, but he just kept getting hit.
Well,
like,
I think the big chance in the first half that you're looking at, Ryan, is when Kamara kind of puts his shot wide right. Evander probably should have shot that ball right inside the 18 there.
Well, Orshana was open on his left as well, behind
true
him.
as well. He had options.
And
that's one of those
the right
where
options offensively.
The past couple of weeks, you're thinking he's going to put that one away.
Yeah, no, for sure. And again, that just kind of adds up to maybe he just needed one match, like this, and then we have Leagues Cup, and he'll get back into it. I'm sure he will. Past that, Sam, we didn't really have a ton, I would say, until the moment, that we're going to get into. Santos had one in the 68th minute. The tap in that just gets cleared off of the line. That one, clearly comes to mind. That could have been a different story. If it's somebody else, does somebody else get more of a touch on it than Santos? Like, I don't know, potentially. But yeah, we had that one off the line. And then later on in the game, I think Miami, one of the very last plays of the game, Powell clears it off the line as well. So if you want to talk about, opportunities and how the reffing played into this one, obviously the 92nd one is the one we want to get into. But prior to that, there was 2 shouts for potential PKs on us. Do you want to get into that? I think we should in this.
Well, I don't know if the second one. First one
was Yedlin's. So Yedlin's where he kind of like eats it in the turf. Like, it almost feels like his leg gets stuck, but there is some contact, but it's not enough to call it a PK.
The second one on Hadebe, I don't know if that was inside the box.
I think it was outside as well. Yeah. And I think like he's trying to get his arm behind his back.
Yeah, it's it's not unnatural, a natural position, like
unnatural,
like he wasn't trying to hit the ball at all. Like, his hand is by his side as well.
Yeah, but he again puts himself in this situation right by the edge of the box.
Yeah.
What was it? The Dallas game.
Yes. Yeah.
I believe, right?
Yeah. His arm was.
Was it? No, wasn't the Dallas game? Was it?
It might have been Dallas.
Because then Lucho would have put the PK, but it wasn't. I don't believe it was that one. It was maybe one before. But Hadebe gets big and his arm goes out. It might have been Austin, actually, because Vasquez scores in that one.
That's it, yeah.
Austin match. He does a very similar thing, but his arm's more out to the side than it is trying to go behind him. The dude just needs to keep his arms down, like tape his arms behind his back or something. Yeah. That's the one, and then the Yedlin one, like we mentioned. So if you look at all the like Miami shouts, it's like, well, we should have had 2 PKs and they should have had 1 goal. It's like, all right, but seriously, if you go back and look, the one that is just the complete most ridiculous play of this whole match, 92nd minute, unbelievable ball by Evander. It gets, I think, a little bit overlooked in this. He puts it right by the 6. At first, you're thinking, okay, well, is Miles onside because he wins this ball and it's a goal. Like, essentially, it's clearly a goal. He wins this ball in the air, but then you see there's some contact. So if you go back and you slow it down, I love the breakdown on the Apple TV crew. If you go and check out that video, I tweeted about it as well. But you see the contact with Noah Allen, like, on his arm. And so as he's getting pulled, like, he's got to bring his arm up to jump. What is he supposed to do with his arm?
Yeah.
So if the guy doesn't jump, where is his arm going to go? Close to the guy's face. I mean, it's inadvertent contact, number one. They're both jostling for
50-50 ball. Yeah.
And she blows the whistle like almost immediately after the play, which, again, it wasn't during the play. So the play finishes, the ball goes in the net. Everyone's celebrating, like, and then he looks over and the line
talking to the side ref. Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, well, number one, why is this female ref, blowing this play dead? And then we do find out later that there was a VAR for this situation. And the VAR deemed that it was not, going to be overturned or anything that, needed to be looked at. But I don't know how you say that. Like, it's clearly a 50-50 ball. So every single time you're telling me that people are battling in the box, it's going to be a foul like that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think, like you said, the Apple TV broadcast kind of gave a good, synopsis summary of everything that
Some guys
happened.
that played in the league.
Yeah, but they're coming to the same conclusion you are, right? Like, if we're calling that, then we're calling it every single time, and nobody's going to score off a free kick or in the box or during a corner kick or literally anything. So yeah, absolutely just stupid, and it feels like it happens
92nd
every
minute.
single time to FC Cincinnati as well.
Would have been 3 points.
Mhm.
Would have been 2 more in the supporters. I mean, that's a huge swing
Yep.
there and what could have been.
Cost us 2 more points, yeah.
Again, in this situation, like, you can't just bank on one moment and say
Yep.
that's it. Like, the offense has to produce, and Dotto had chances, Evander had a chance, just like we broke down. It wasn't like that was the only play, and we can't rely on just, one single action. But when that is the defining moment and it gets swing, away from us and almost like taken away, it really felt like we were robbed in a lot of ways. Again, I just don't know how in a 50-50 situation where his arm's getting grabbed and he's going to jump, what's he supposed to do? And he wins the header. So shout out to Miles for that. Pretty solid with the corn roast too. And he got that header in with it. So we like those. But 0-0, Sam. Of all of this, a hard fought, 1 point out of it, undefeated against Miami on the season.
Take 4 out of 6 points.
4 out of 6 is pretty solid against them, I would say. Back to second, unfortunately in the East, and only 1 point behind Philly in Supporters Shield. Still feels like we're in a solid position. With I think 9 matches to play, Sam. We have, I believe, 6 at home, 3 away. Feeling pretty solid, at least, about that situation.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, after this match, we got, obviously we'll talk about Leagues Cup, but where you sit in the MLS right now, just 1 point back, you now have a tiebreaker with Miami, right? If it comes down to the end of the season, we have the tiebreaker because we have those 4 points against them. So that's a positive if you want to.
Would it come to the head-to-head or would it come to goal differential?
Just depends, right? I think usually they go to head-to-head if the goal differential is tied, right? So like
potentially,
I'm you try and find any positivity out of this one because we got robbed, right? So it is what it is. But Ryan, this FC Cincinnati held their opponent scoreless again for the 3rd straight match. I mean, credit to Roman again, but first time since defense too. Agreed. First time since March 25th through April 8th, 2023. That was against Nashville, Miami, and then against Philly. So those 3 teams, Ryan, happen to be, top of the East in the top 5, top 4 right there. So if we can do it in 2023, we'll continue to do it again and again. So it actually was crazy too. This is the first time this season there's ever been, a scoreless draw for FC Cincinnati in a match. So it was either, we lost by a certain amount of goals or, we scored. So
this is not a bring your buddy that's trying to get into, soccer situation. No. They're like, man, watch the whole game and I didn't see a single goal.
Yeah.
Actually, they took one away from us too. That's even worse.
We earned it fair and square and they took it away.
Like Sam said, this is the only time it's happened this year. So that's a good thing. We score goals. It happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think storylines coming out of this one, Sam, I'm going to shout out one that I just, didn't technically write down, but getting into the situation of, where we're at in the season, with the transfer window looming and with where the schedule is, like I said, 9 matches, 6 at home. This is a vital stretch that we have coming up here for the squad past Leagues Cup. We still are in the running for potentially, I believe, 3 trophies. If you think about Leagues Cup, Supporters Shield, MLS Cup, in that situation there. And we're putting, again, ourselves in a nice driver's seat position, I would say, for that. My question to you for this, we've seen where we were last year going into Leagues Cup. Do you think we're feeling any different this year?
Yeah, I think you have to be when your best player is healthy, right? Last year was a different story with Lucho, and now that Evander's pretty healthy. I mean, obviously he's got fatigue from the All-Star game and everything, but our best players are healthy, and besides Danke, but he's coming back here in August, probably middle of Leagues Cup, if not at the end of it. But yeah, I think they have to feel a lot more confident than they did last year. I know the biggest thing coming into this season was Pat talking about the rotation of the squad and being able to handle all of these competitions, right? Last season, he said that about Champions Cup and Leagues Cup and how just towards the end of the season, we just didn't handle it the right way. So now that you're looking at the roster and the construction of everything, I'm very curious to see how I mean, we'll talk about it obviously here at the end of the pod about lineups going forward and rotation and, getting people rest, but also prioritizing MLS, supporter shield.
Yeah, no, I think this is a good segue to the second headline, that comes out of it. You talk about bringing those guys in and the roster flexibility that we may have or don't have.
Yeah.
So, Sam, do we lack quality depth on this team? I think I've seen that around a lot of the FCC universe here, but if you look at the guys that we had coming off the bench, especially in a forward position,
In this game specifically,
Santos, 1 goal, 2 assists on the year. Baird, no goals, 1 assist on the year. Powell comes into the game, hasn't scored. Brad Smith comes in the game, hasn't scored. You had Hidebe as well. Flores, Hagelin, and then Mamba Dem, a second team player that's young and inexperienced. So if you're looking at this team to be, again, a trophy winner, is this the bench that we want to see right now?
No, obviously it's not one that you're looking at and really. I mean, if you're Pat deep into the game, looking at the bench, going, I mean, who's going to give me a goal? Who's going to kind of ignite some stuff? And obviously, we're still missing a crucial bench guy in Kubo that could obviously be that Swiss Army of a piece and be able to fill some holes there. But yeah, I think you're right. Like, especially in this match, you're really looking to find 3 points on the road, and you look to the bench and you're like, I don't see 3 points in this. Like, we're gonna have to go for a draw here. But yeah,
I think it's
a
good preface, though. Like you said, like if Kubo was that guy last year and had 10 goals, that's one for sure.
Yeah,
He's got experience with that. You have Dotto starting in this match, but could easily, come in, and he's had 5 goals this year. So I think, like, I was posing the question, but I think you were right in the sense that, like, we do have some of those pieces if we're back and fully healthy that can produce, or if it is Obi that can come back at the end of the season. Now you have Anunga that feels comfortable, starting or potentially coming off the bench because he's been in those big moments. So when healthy, I would say yes, but when we're thin and when we're spread out like this, it really shows a little bit of the lack that we have, and the guys that should by all means be producing, that are getting paid a lot to produce, are not. So at what point does that change? We're going to talk about that on the flip side of things. But our last kind of storyline that comes out of this one, Sam, is there a VAR issue going on with the MLS right now?
I think so. I mean, obviously, like you said, like the referee blew the whistle before the call even entered the net. VAR couldn't really overturn. I mean, they looked at it, right? See, this is where it's like wishy-washy, right? Like, is it overturnable because she blew the whistle early, or is it not? Or is it on VAR to overturn it? Because, like you said, a 50-50 ball, like everything that we saw. I just think overall, Ryan, I think there's a lack of transparency that goes on with this. And then you have the inconsistent application to the referees, right? From referee to referee, obviously, like, they're human, right? They're going to make mistakes, but that's why you have VAR to clean up your mistakes.
Yeah, I was even surprised that they didn't have her at least go and look at it.
Yeah.
I think it just creates an issue where sometimes they are like, oh no, like, I don't think I had a mistake there. And, somebody's sitting there looking at the screen like, you clearly made a mistake. Like, go look at it. And I don't know if it's a situation, like, obviously they can dictate from there, like, all right, Tori, you need to actually go and look at this one. But in this match, you see it personified, and there by all means should have been potentially 3 good looks at it. They got one wrong. And I think the other thing that is relevant as well is in the All-Star game, they had a VAR check that took like 7 minutes.
Yeah.
So, like, what are we doing with this? I think it's become a little bit more of an issue. Again, you want to get these calls right. And it just seems like there's too much ambiguity in what's going on with VAR in a situation where you shouldn't.
Yeah, I completely agree. Ryan, let's roll into the trivia of the week here, presented by Goals TV. We've got an interesting one because we're going to be, talking about Leagues Cup a lot, in the second half of this podcast and then the next couple episodes probably. But Ryan, with FC Cincinnati about to play a big name in Sergio Ramos, who used to play for Real Madrid. If everybody's seeing Ryan's, kit that he's got on there, how many former Madrid players has FC Cincinnati played?
In all USL and MLS, like any competition?
Just MLS.
Just MLS. I'm going to go with 2. I honestly have no idea who it was, but I think we had played 2 before.
All right, Ryan's going with 2 players. We'll see what it is on the other side.
Hey everyone, just a quick message from Ryan and Sam here at the Flying Lion Podcast. We wanted to share some exciting news with you. The Flying Lion Podcast has officially partnered with Chatterbox Sports. We are very excited to be a part of the Chatterbox community as they have proven to give you the very best coverage of Cincinnati sports thus far.
For those who are new to the Flying Line Podcast, we cover FC Cincinnati news, game recaps, analysis, and unique segments such as our trivia question of the week, jersey swap of the week, card of the week. Give us a listen on our post-match shows on every away game on Chatterbox YouTube and our weekly episodes wherever you get your podcast. Thank you again for your support.
Welcome back, everyone. Thanks again for joining us tonight. A pretty solid week overall for FC Cincinnati, holding where we're at. Definitely feel like we could have had more from this past match. We did have some awesome representation for All-Star Week that we'll kind of cover here in this second part, and a little bit of the relevancy with transfer window as well. But first, as we always do, Sam, let's hear what you have for your jersey swap of the week.
Yeah, my jersey swap of the week this week is going to be Miles Robinson. Obviously, he was able to anchor the back line in this match against Miami. Very physical, very intense, obviously a controversial match in itself. Led FC Cincinnati in passes into the final third, and then obviously nearly scored a late goal. Should have been 3 points for FC Cincinnati, but Miles Robinson played really well in the back, and he kind of came back from last game and was able to have a good showing.
I think, like, if you asked me early on in the match, like, there was moments where I'd say, like, I don't know.
First half wasn't so good. Second half, a lot better.
He had a little bit of an all-star slump there for a second. Coming back into it after being with the U.S. team for a month and not really playing, like, competitive minutes, like, that definitely had to be tough for him. But I think you're going to see an inspired Miles Robinson coming out of this one, especially with the fact that, like, he by all means should have had the game-winning header here. So I am in full agreement with you with that one. And let's keep the dreads. I like the dreads.
Absolutely.
Or not the dreads, the cornrows. Sorry.
Cornrows. Yeah. Cornrows look phenomenal. But Ryan, jersey swap for you.
I had Roman Celentano for this week, Sam. He just got his 9th clean sheet in all MLS appearances for him. He's honestly been pretty solid for us over the past, I would say, month now. He's really coming into his own in the season, but unbelievable saves in this one too, just to keep us in it, just like in the RSL one. So shout out to Roman. He's continuing to do what we've seen him do. I think you tweeted this out, so I don't want to like say it myself, but he's become like one of the best shot stoppers in the MLS and has shown that this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Roman, I mean, I took him last week, so Ryan was like, gotta give Ryan the credit for this one this week. But yeah, Roman, 3 clean sheets in a row. He's on a streak, which is going to be hopefully 4 after we play Leagues Cup. But he honestly during Leagues Cup here will probably get a well-deserved break, and be able to recalibrate any bruises from diving or anything that he's got going on. But yeah, Roman's been putting on a clinic.
We'll have to chat with like some keepers at some point. Would you want to break, or do you want to keep your hot streak going the way that you're doing it with 3 clean sheets in a row? Like,
yeah, we'll have to talk
obviously
to Eric
credit to the defense again for just outstanding performances, but Roman has really kind of single-handedly in some moments kept us into these matches. So yeah, great to again spot him out, especially here recent. But on the flip side, Sam, cards of the week.
Yeah, card of the week for me this week. the MLS All-Star game, this happened now multiple years in a row. The number 10 being taken away from FC Cincinnati players. I just have a problem with now back-to-back years, and I believe in 2023 as well, so it could be back-to-back-to-back. The number 10 jersey being taken away from Lucho and now Evander during the MLS All-Star game because Messi didn't show up. So not sure if that's been a thing prior to Messi where the number 10 is just such, a common jersey number that they just don't give it to the number 10. But I feel like in this instance, both of our captains were number 10s, and I think they should be able to wear it.
This is gonna be a fun one out there on the web when we put this one out. A lot of Messi fans, I'm sure, will be straight into the message board for this. But yeah, no, I'm in agreement with you, especially with the fact that we've had 2 years in a row now where the fans have voted these guys as the captain. And if you're gonna personify your number 10 as like your best player and your captain typically like that, yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Like, I think it's not fair. I don't think it's fair either that we can go and find the jerseys for the MLS All-Star games to buy for these guys, but you can easily find the Messi ones. Yeah, no disagreement. Messi's a legend. That's why this is happening. That's why he's reserved that number 10 spot. The thing for me that's frustrating is like they didn't know until the last day. So they had already reserved it, well in advance. I think that's obviously why this happens, but it's, frustrating nonetheless.
Yeah. So what was your card then? If my card's such a controversial one.
So I had I show speed at the All-Star game. Sam put this one out, but if everyone wants to go check out his interview, he was asked, being from Ohio, who is his favorite team, and he said Cincinnati FC. It's like, okay, great. And then he goes, well, who are you looking forward to see the most? And he goes, Endeavor. And for those who know Speed, like this guy, this is his bit. This is what he does. But it's Evander. And you just saw him just dominate in the skills challenge the night before. Again, I'm pretty sure this is why he's doing it this way. But you can't do Cincinnati FC and then do Endeavor. That was just a cringe-worthy clip, though.
No, I know. And even, Sasha was just laughing, right? I believe he was like, put some respect on Evander's name, my guy. Like, yeah, obviously Speed, this is, something he does very commonly, right? With some of the biggest footballers in the world. So not out of the norm, but dude, when you're repping Cincinnati out here and you're getting our best player's name wrong, come on, man. You're representing the MLS too. Like, come on.
Potentially the MVP of the league coming up here too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a funny moment. Like, again, knowing who this guy is, he's a big time YouTuber. He's got millions of followers. He's from Cincinnati. So that was cool to, see him a part of all of this. But was he, necessarily like needed in this situation, Sam? That's for debate.
Well, a lot of people saying because Messi didn't show up, they had to call Speed.
Right. Well, the situation that would have been funny was him meeting Messi because
that's what everybody was calling for, right? Like with
Ronaldo supporter.
During the skills competition, like Speed feeding Messi or Messi feeding Speed would have been a viral moment that could have happened, but nope. MLS botched it.
Yeah, well, not necessarily MLS. I think
I know you got to get the guy there, right? And if he doesn't want to get there,
yeah. Anyway. As we roll into it in recording where we are now Sunday night, FCC2 played Inter Miami 2. And I believe down in Florida, we just got the win 3-0. Pretty awesome to actually see us go and dominate them down there. I don't think that's happened a lot in our history against the second team. But Trilla, he gets his first goal for us in this game, but 2 matches in a row now, and then 3 goals in 4 matches for him. Pretty solid.
Yeah. I mean, as we're recording this, the game just ended. So nice to see, like Ryan said, 3-0 win. Kenji Babadem also scores, gets 4 goals on the year. Carson Locker, 17-year-old kid who came in the 82nd minute for Kenji, scores as well to kind of cap it off there with the 3-0 win. But yeah, Ryan, 8 positive results in a row. That's 2 wins in a row for FC Cincinnati. the second team. They're on a roll, dude.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great shout. I don't think enough people are talking about that over the last 8 matches.
We were literally the bottom of the table, and now we sit at 9th.
It's pretty impressive to see him kind of come back up. Carson Locker did train with the first team this past week, so I think he's just got a funny name. But it's pretty cool to see this happen. They do play the Philly 2 team on August 3rd coming up, so hopefully they can keep that rolling and maybe fight for a playoff spot, because I believe they were the number 1 seed last year, but lost in the first round, if I remember correctly.
Yes. Yeah. Right now, sitting at 9th, they'd be right outside playoff picture. So
they're fighting for it, though. They're back in a lot better of a position.
Yeah.
And honestly, especially with all the talent down, in Miami, it's a pretty cool result to see, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Especially, Dotto, right? One of the academy products from Inter Miami, having success with us. So maybe that'll show some of their MLS Next guys. Come on up here.
Nick Hagelin also played in this one. I think he got the start for it, so he's kind of working his way back into competitive matches. I don't think that he has he made an appearance since he's been injured? Yeah, I don't think so either. So maybe we'll
haven't seen that 150th appearance graphic yet.
Yeah, that's true. Leagues Cup, I think, is probably a good moment for him to make a comeback, from his injury that he had in Atlanta. So we'll stay tuned for that one. But like we mentioned, this All-Star week and the recap that we had, we did have the next All-Star game. As we were recording the last time, we saw Adamir Chavez start. He got an assist on the first goal of the game on a beautiful free kick ball into the box there. So great to see the young lad. He's going off to Portugal and training with Benfica now, so good for him. And then Andre Chirilla was in there. I don't think he had any memorable moments from this one, but the skills challenge, I thought this was pretty cool to see Evander just dominate. That guy just pretty much took the All-Star week by storm. I think he became the most likable guy just because of, hey, number one, you set the record in the shooting challenge, and then you go into the passing challenge and you dominate that as well. Like, if they had an MVP of the skills challenge, it would have been Evander.
Yeah, I mean, in front of, as far as the passing challenge, in front of an MLS legend like Clint Dempsey, right? He's looking at Evander going, holy crap, like this kid's good. And that fro looks even better.
Well, they kept pressing him too after the fact on all right, what do you think about MVP? And a pro, he was like, you know what? We're going to just enjoy this time in the All-Star game. I'll talk about MVP my teammates later. I'm going to enjoy the moment here. A pro's pro in his response, but they asked him 2 or 3 times the same question.
Well, Ryan, there, like you said, they were trying to squeeze it out of him, and that I think I saw a lot of people, not just FC Cincinnati fans, but a lot of MLS fans as well, saying this is how the face of the league should act, right?
Right.
Deflecting, the answers to your teammates, to being in the moment. Don't, cave and give the media what they want.
Yeah, true. I mean, they're trying to set the narrative and kind of pull out of him, what his thoughts are, and especially with Messi not being there as well. That was an interesting question, I think, for it. But then by Wednesday night, like we had mentioned a little bit earlier with the All-Star match, and the fact that there's all this build up to this game where the players are walking out, and it just felt like it was late. It was forced. It was, again, I don't love the All-Star game. I get why people are upset about the situation with suspensions on the fact that is it relevant or not, but it's still what the
it's
MLS
a rule.
Is doing.
Yeah.
It's still what the players have to show up to. It's still, again, showcasing our best players. But again, the timing, that's the problem I have with it. Why are we now rolling into Leagues Cup in this situation? We had All-Star week, then we had one MLS match day, and now we have another tournament. It just doesn't make sense in that. We need to clean up some of that. In terms of the actual match, the MLS dominated. They won 3-0.
Yeah.
Evander almost gets a goal early on in this match on a pretty sick volley that knuckles down on the back post. So he showed out, and I think a lot of the Liga MX stars pretty much showed respect to Evander in some ways, but then at the same token, some of them had some hard challenges. And
was it 3-0 or 3-1?
You might have been right. I thought it was 3-0 though.
Was it that? No, it was the 16 or 17-year-old Mexican.
You're right. He had a long shot. You're right.
Yeah.
3-1. Good call.
Yeah, because it was 3-0, and then he made it, and it was like that was actually pretty. That was a pretty good goal. Yeah,
he's a baller. But yeah, the fact that Evander played 45 minutes for me was
oh
a
my
little bit
gosh,
questionable.
you and I were not having this.
Do you think that played into his performance against Miami?
I mean, probably. I mean, the guy was tired, but he also always looks kind of, just easy going. I think easy going is a good way to put it. But yeah, obviously you and I had big issues with him playing all of the first half. We were like, can he just play 20 minutes or like 15,
Oh, I think being the captain, like, do you think that is more his
That's what I asked you. Yeah. Because he was captain, so he maybe has like a bigger responsibility, of, hey, I want to stay out here and show whatever. But Robinson starts the second half for us. I don't really remember him doing too much either. Maybe a clearance here or there.
Well, one of the goals, I think, I should say one of the goals. The goal for Liga MX comes, I think Miles was a little bit late to get to that challenge on the young midfielder there, but it wasn't necessarily like his fault that the goal happened. Past that, nothing really memorable from it. Again, you just want to come out of it healthy. You want to come out of it like refreshed in some ways, like a change of scenery, might be good for some people in this situation.
Have some fun.
Evander was like riding a heater. He gets there. He becomes like the face of the MLS while he's there. And I just felt like, coming into the Miami game, I wanted to see, like, could he tune it up again
capitalize.
and go? Again, it was kind of a interesting situation why we had this match right after All-Star game. 2 days later, potentially, for guys playing on Friday and then other people on Saturday. So that should have been really my card of the week, is like, again, why are we scheduling it this way? But overall, if you want to call it a success for us, like, we came out of it uninjured. All-Star game, at least seeing Evander dominate and being the captain.
Third captain in a row. Yeah.
Pretty cool. But we move on. MLS summer transfer window, again, is now open. It goes through August 21st. We do have our new player, Ender Echeniche, who actually was in training. He joined on Friday. He's going to be on the Leagues Cup roster as number 66. I don't know if he's going to keep that one for MLS play as well, but he's in training. I think that he's going to ramp up and start getting some minutes during Leagues Cup, and it'd be a perfect time for him to get acquainted. And by the time we hit August 10th for that next MLS match, I would love to see this guy on the bench and contributing at the later part of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think obviously we talk about the timing of things and scheduling and how this is all played out. But for FC Cincinnati and for, honestly, teams that are bringing in new players, Leagues Cup is the best kind of tournament or, string of games where you can try out your new players, get them comfortable on the pitch with some of the other guys. Obviously, you're competing for a trophy and you want to win a trophy. That doesn't really matter that much, but it's hardware, right? So you get to hoist something.
There's just a lot of different ways to play it. And I feel like for some teams, like, this could be their moment to go and win hardware if they're out of it, during the MLS. What's interesting about this format, we'll kind of get into it, it's not including everyone. So the way you approach it and the way you ramp guys up, during this period will be interesting, and where it kind of sits for us to go and add pieces as well. For what has already happened, Sam, we've seen around the league a lot of movement already with Rodrigo De Paul. In Columbus, I believe they had signed their DP, Ali, the forward. San Diego went out and got someone as well. And then obviously the Whitecaps is the big one and how it's relevant to us. So Thomas Muller, out of nowhere, is now rumored to be signing with the Vancouver Whitecaps, which, again, everyone had looked at LAFC being the partner club of Bayern Munich for a while. They looked at us potentially being an option. Vancouver kind of came out of nowhere, honestly. But it appears by all means that that's where Muller wants to go. He had about $15 million on his contract last season. FC Cincinnati has his discovery rights. So right now, I believe if this is going to happen, Vancouver and Cincinnati are going to negotiate on what this looks like. We're going to get some GAM, I believe, for the discovery rights. Sam, do we want like an international spot thrown in there too with it or something? Or
hey, yeah,
a little low on those
sweeten
numbers.
the deal a little bit, not just some gam. How about you throw a spot over here?
Marco Royce, his discovery rights, I believe, were with Charlotte.
Yeah, they just got some gam.
400,000.
Yeah,
to kind of put in perspective what we could be looking at in terms of some flexibility there coming to the roster. We'll see what that looks like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I know the earlier this week or last week, they had said, Mueller was going to make his decision within 7 to 10 days. You'll kind of find out who that second team was. They didn't really, publicize, but I guess Whitecaps was the second team that's kind of been working in the shadows, but yeah, obviously FC Cincinnati is going to be able to benefit from this to some degree. We just don't really know how much yet.
Yeah. But past that, obviously our involvement in this will give us some potential flexibility, which is nice. But past that, Sam, my question to you, are you concerned about the lack of rumors that we have or have not had for this transfer window?
At this point, I'm never concerned. I shouldn't be. So I'll put it that way. I shouldn't be concerned. Because like we've seen, like Chris Cook, doesn't matter how many rumors we have a player coming in, right? So I'm satisfied in that of we had something for this window and we made a deal and he's obviously going to add some value to what we're doing. Maybe we need some more pieces. I think we do, but that's we've got now still, a little under a month to go and find those pieces. And so, no, I'm not too concerned. Why are you? Are you concerned?
The way that things are shaping out, the big relevant spot right now in the roster is seeing that Obi actually doesn't go on the season injury list.
A lot of people are calling for him too, though. So
that again?
A lot of people are calling for him to be put on season ending to free up space for us, but I don't long term.
You got to know the situation of the player coming out of his surgery and how he potentially could come back, in October and for a playoff run. Like the season runs all the way through that time.
Mm-hmm.
And if Obi's going to be available, like that's a guy that you want to have available with his experience and what he brings to this team, his leadership, all of it. But yeah, no, it's a good question to ponder because we had the situation last year with Miazga. We place him on the list. We bring in, Wazium, but it creates a conundrum in the offseason where now we're sitting with this guy's salary. We're sitting with Hidebe's salary. Like, how are we going to fit all these guys into our roster? So I don't think they wanted to handcuff themselves necessarily that way. Again, right. So I think that, Obi might come back at the very, very end of the season. If there's any potential, that's why they kept him off. So I think that's good. But past that, and with where we're at in the roster, like it's either a U22 guy or we got to be making some moves, whether we're waiving people, whether we're trading people. Something's got to happen. Something's got to shake down. So I think that's what you see probably first. And then you start to see some of the other puzzle pieces go on. The longer and longer we go into this, though, I think you'll see what Leagues Cup kind of looks like for us, how guys are getting healthy like Denke, and what does that kind of look like for us in the last 9 matches of the season is yet to be seen. But there is time, like Sam said. I think, signed our striker last year, right, at the very, very last minute on loan.
Yeah.
Giacchini. So I think it comes down to sometimes even the last second. What's interesting, though, Sam, we'll talk about it probably as time goes on. The windows don't line up again. The European window and the MLS windows, we talked about it a lot last year. I think we even made it a card of the week. So if we're potentially trying to bring in a guy and our negotiations are stalling and it hits that 21st, well, hey, he can go sign somewhere else in Europe, 5-6 days later, which is unfortunate, again, that the MLS is losing out in that situation.
Yeah, 100%, Ryan. But as we move forward, we've got Leagues Cup coming up. And for those of you who don't know, we're getting some new rules to Leagues Cup. So only 18 MLS teams participate, down from all of them in the previous seasons, making the tournament a little bit more selective.
Do you know the selection process for that offhand?
I don't. I don't.
Yeah, I wonder how they got 18, out of that.
I mean, you could go off of maybe Concacaf points. You could go off of, a number of things, maybe even standings. Maybe it's 9-9, Ryan. It might be 9-9 if I had to guess the playoff teams from last year. But as Ryan looks that up, every phase 1 match will be MLS versus La Liga, kind of boosting that interleague play and avoiding any league internal group matches for the MLS, since we do have 18 teams in it. But then standings are a little bit more league specific rather than group based, and then trying to once again create those matchups and knockout rounds with the MLS and the La Liga to drum it up a little bit more.
Dude, you nailed it. You're right on it. The top 9 teams in each MLS conference from the prior season will qualify for it. So
there you go. Trust the top of the head.
They're still fine-tuning this thing for me. And again, it just shows how kind of silly this tournament is in a way. Again, for those who are season ticket holders, our first match is going to be against Monterrey, on this Thursday. Everyone past that, you have to go and buy.
Yeah.
So again, it's an interesting situation. Like Sam said, you're going for a trophy. So you get kind of now selected for it. It kind of feels like a step up a little bit. But then you don't get participation in Open Cup, so there's drawbacks to this and what this does again for Apple TV and the numbers and everything. And I think Messi's wearing a body cam on TikTok. Did you hear about this?
No, that sounds
all
ridiculous.
The matches,
that probably should have been your card of the week.
Yeah, so we'll probably highlight that one next week after we see what it looks like.
Yeah.
So there's ridiculous things like this where they just try things out to see how it works. But yeah, it'll be interesting to again see how we handle this. So as we roll into this preview that we have against Monterrey on Thursday, Sam, my question to you, just like we did last season, do we take this competition serious?
I mean, from our perspective, you and I, we don't take it seriously, but once again, it's hardware and these guys want to win. So if they can walk out of this season and go, hey, we're Leagues Cup champions, then maybe that's something special, right? For this group of players specifically. We don't know
that gets you prepared for MLS Cup, I think is also a real thing. I mean, you're 9 games away from the playoffs, in the regular season. You're going to be getting down to a point where it's single elimination, whether you like it or not at the end of the season here. So, it's going to hit at a good point where we see how these guys can handle pressure situations. It's just the matter of, does our staff see it that way? Or at the beginning of the season, do they say, we're going to go for a Champions Cup, we're going to go for Shield, we're going to go for Cup? How do we prioritize that? Or now that we see it, hey, look at where we're at in the standings, hey, maybe do we back off and give some guys a little bit of a break and prioritize the last 9? I think that's an interesting situation for that. For me personally, you're probably going to see some rotation, especially in this Monterrey one. Sam, I would say Leroux's got to be the big one that you're going to see over Roman, I would imagine.
Yeah. I mean, Alec Kahn's still on the Leagues Cup roster, but yes, I think Leroux would be, the number 1 backup behind Roman, as we've seen him playing actually in FCC2 games. So, but yeah, as you're talking specifically about Monterrey, last season lost both matchups against them in Champions Cup. They just started their Liga MX season recently. They sit at 4th in the table. I believe they've only played 6 games or something like that so far. So, but they did have a good run in Club World Cup, made it to the round of 16, lost to Dortmund though, 1-2, 2-1, however you want to score that. But once again, Sergio Ramos, big name on this squad. Brandon Vazquez left the last time we played them. So now they got to bring in a bigger name, and I mean, Ryan, just real quick, have you seen the contract negotiation, everything Sergio got when he joined Monterrey? Have you seen that?
They throw the bag to these legends, man.
I know.
Yeah, it's almost like a Ronaldinho situation. I think he was part owner of a Liga MX team at one point. But yeah, no, I think it'll be cool if Sergio does play in this one. I'd be stoked, honestly, to see him. I just, again, from our standpoint of things, what does that look like? Will be the interesting question. So as we kind of roll into, they did announce this roster. So of the notable ones, Nathan Crockford, one of our FCC2 guys, and then Yair Ramos was also named as in addition to Ender. No surprise there. So more minutes probably coming to Ender, more minutes probably for Nick Hagelin to get kind of acquainted to things. I think Evander probably takes a break.
Flores probably gets some minutes there, center back.
Miazga probably gets some time off as well. So solidify your lineup for me in this one. If you had to say that might be a tough question to ask you, but I would love to see what you got.
Should we go overly rotated?
That's up to you.
Let's just act like, I'm gonna give you my most over rotated squad.
The most rotated lineup?
Yes. Yeah.
Is that what you think is gonna happen?
No, this isn't what I think. There's gonna be a mix of like starters.
Give me what you think is gonna happen. That's what I want to hear.
Okay. I honestly I think, like you said, Hagelin starting in the back, maybe with Flores. Maybe you see Miles Robinson start in the back with them in the middle to be able to give a consistent piece in the back. I think Orshano's still left back, right back. Like you said, maybe Ender is playing right back, just to kind of see, hey, what do you have? What do you got?
Right wing back, to clarify. Yes.
Yeah. Right wing back. Yes. And then in the middle, maybe, I don't know if Anunga starts or not. You need a defensive piece right there, but he may need a break. But let's go Anunga.
It's tough, man. Those two especially, because I think
so. I'm working my way up, but I really want to see Dotto as a number 10. That's where I'm like working my way up. I want to see Dotto in that, like, maybe Evander takes a break for this game or one of the League's Cup games, because this is against Monterrey, so he might want to play. But maybe against like FC Juarez, right?
Mm-hmm.
He plays or he sits the bench. Dotto as a number 10. I would really like to see that.
There's just going to be some interesting pieces. Maybe guys like he might throw around like in that center mid role is the only question I have, because right now the depth is not there in center mid.
Yeah, give Buka a break.
I think you gotta either Buka or Anunga is gonna get a break in this one.
Somebody in the middle.
I think you have to. So whether that is, man, I don't even know. Like, who do you throw?
Is Jimenez getting some minutes?
Potentially, potentially.
Yeah.
Or one of the young guys again, like bring them into the center and give them minutes there. Let's see what they got.
Would you put Kenji there in the middle?
I don't know if I'd put him directly in the center mid spot. Maybe like if he was on a wing. I think more a wing is more likely. I think you're right. I think Evander, probably in the Juarez one though. I think he'll probably want to play against Monterrey. I think that's a good shout. I think that Kai probably sits in this one.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe like a Santos Barrett up top.
Yeah, Santos Barrett. It's gonna be fairly rotated, just because I think Pat wants to obviously win and compete, but at the same token, like, you got to know these guys have been playing.
You go maybe like Sharilla with Santos up top or something like that. I think would be cool.
All right, let's see it. I'm again, this is going to be a wild lineup when it comes out, but I'm here for it. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. I believe we're the away team in this one as well. I think that's how it works.
Away team at home.
Yeah, away team at home. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what this rendition looks like this year. We always called it the League's Cup madness because there's always something crazy that's going on in these. I think the one year there was a red card against Kansas City. You had the rain delays before with Chivas. So what's going to happen with Monterrey? They come back to Cincy, like you mentioned, though. We played them fairly recent and a lot of times over the last couple of seasons. So what that looks like, for this rendition and this year, I feel like they show out pretty well with their support group. So I'm excited for that part. But what prediction do you have in this one?
I may be a little wishful thinking here, but I think we squeeze out a 1-0 win. I think it's 0-0 till the end, and then the soccer gods say, you know what, we really gypped you on that Inter Miami game. So we'll give you a goal here. I think we're going to win 1-0.
You guys don't hear me say this a lot, but we're losing this one. Like, I don't think I've had like us losing a game in a long time. But I just don't think they prioritize this in this one, and there's going to be a lot of rotation. I think it's 1-2. I hope I'm wrong. Again, I hope Sam's right for a 1-0. Maybe even a PK shootout would be a fun thing, but
Get 2 points.
I'm just not feeling great about the current situation of things with where our priority is in this season.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair.
Yeah, so as we move on from that, I think past the Monterrey game, Sam mentioned we do have FC Juarez coming in. That match, I believe, is going to be on Sunday, so August 3rd. That one's at 5:30. That'll be the second of 3 match days that we have. Again, a lot of matches in a short amount of time.
3 matches in what, like 7 or 8 days?
7 days. So, and then you have August 10th is the next MLS. So they're really kind of rushing this. And then if we move on, Sam, I think you got to push back some of the MLS games too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it'll be fascinating to kind of see how this unfolds. Again, like, I don't know, like, for that much in playing these many matches, Sam, what does that look like for these guys?
That once again, that you really look into it and you go, what are we prioritizing? We're second in the East right now, within winning distance of Supporters Shield and, you know, getting home field advantage, right, for the MLS Cup or MLS playoffs. And yeah, I mean, you're looking at Leagues Cup going, man, did we really benefit the rest of the season from, you know, getting further in this tournament?
Yeah, that'll be the question. Again, interesting to see what comes out of it. We'll be here to cover both of these. You know, the Juarez one on the back end, we didn't really have a ton of preview for that one. I don't think they're doing as well, but it will be interesting to see. Go vote for the Pride, our supporters group for FC Cincinnati, for best MLS supporters group. This is going to be by Newsweek. I think the voting is still out for a little bit, but
yeah, end of August maybe.
Yeah. So go vote for that. I think we had retweeted that at one point as well. Yes. So you can go and find it on our X or our Twitter. Sam, before we close down here, what do you got for our answer for this trivia question?
Yes. So to reiterate, with FC Cincinnati about to play Sergio Ramos and CF Monterrey here this week, who used to play for Real Madrid, how many former Real Madrid players has FC Cincinnati played? Ryan, you had said 2 players, I believe. The answer is 3. Wow. We've got 3 players. I'm going to need so much patience with, you know, pronouncing these names. But the first one is Asair Illaramendi. Okay. And he played.
Yep.
Yeah. He played for FC Dallas. And then you have Mr. Gonzalo Higuain for Inter Miami. Right. And then the last one, Alvaro Medran, he played for Chicago.
Okay. I didn't have any of those on my radar. I felt like we played Kaká at one point, but I don't think that he was in the league.
He was, I think he left the league in 2017.
Oh, wow. Okay. So we just missed him. Otherwise, that was who I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Past that. So, all right. So if we play Ramos on Thursday, then he'll be the 4th, correct? Is what you said. There's 3. So the 4th.
Yep. Maybe the 4th. Yeah.
Shout out Madrid again, wearing the jersey. Didn't even necessarily see the question ahead of time, but just thought I'd throw on the jersey. Right. But thanks again for joining us tonight. Again, we'll be here covering all of the Leagues Cup craziness that happens, all the transfer rumors that you have over the next couple of weeks. Throw them our way. We want to hear it all. Hopefully we get some new players in and some reinforcements, but we're sitting in a pretty spot. We're happy about it. Check us out again on Chatterbox Sports, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you find your podcasts, and we'll see you next week.